in a podcast. I'm your host, Kenny, and I'm here with... I'm saying the full government. Am I saying the middle name? Am I saying everything? Adrian...
Whatever you want to do.
Checo. And this is episode 12. I remember the episode now because I've been doing...
Why are you talking so slow?
I don't know, bro. I just wanted to...
Animosity.
I just been trying to switch it up a little bit.
All right. Today we have a new guest, my guy Josh. How you doing, bro?
What's going on, y'all?
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Feeling good. You know, another day alive. You know how that goes.
Before we started this pod, actually, we had a conversation about Uber drivers. Y'all some special people out there. I'm not going to get into it, but I love y'all. Y'all doing y'all thing.
Word. Concierge delivery.
I'm weak. So, bro, you want to introduce yourself? Tell them what you do.
Yeah. Like you said, my name is Josh. For work, well, by the way, I'm 26. For work, I work for a company called The Key. It's a home care agency. I basically do the regional intake manager. That's my title. So basically, you know, if your loved one needs home care at home, I'm the important person. So being that I'm regional, I handle New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, PA, and New Jersey. So I handle a lot. So it is a corporate company. So it's pretty big. I'll be the first one to tell you I don't love working for a corporate agency, but I love what I do. So I help everybody daily. So
It's in person though, or
so
is it like over the phone?
Everything's remote. So I'm based out of Manhattan. So I'm right by the Flatiron District. Yeah, you just give me a call, answer, walk you through the process. You know, I basically initiate everything start to finish. Initiating paperwork, kind of breaking down the services for you, and then I pretty much end the bridge with our staffing team, the nursing team, right? So every case that's open has to be opened by a nurse, you know, to do an in-person assessment. And then followed by that, we like to kind of coordinate that with the start of care, with assigning an HHA, which is a home health aide. So I pretty much handle everything start to finish, and once it officially starts, I hand it off. So I'll send my intros, like, you know, this is the staffing manager, any questions or concerns you have relating anything with the schedule, this would be a point person. And then I introduce the nursing point of view, so I'd be like, this is your care manager. So if you guys have any questions or concerns with anything clinically related, this will be a point person. And then from there, it's handed off. So that's pretty much what I do day to day. I love it, I'm not gonna lie. I always love working in healthcare. It's definitely motivates me, and I'm helping people. You know, I come from sales, so from selling shoes to quote unquote selling home care, it's a big difference. I feel like I'm actually affecting people. And being that, like you said, I work remote, you know, I get a lot of compliments that, you know, they feel like I actually am helping them. They said I call people and they sound like robots. And they're like, when I speak to you, I feel like you're a human. Like I feel like I'm talking to a human, you know? So I definitely take pride in what I do. And I do say I do love what I do as well.
How many years you been doing it for?
So I'm about to make a year in this agency next month, August 15th. But I did start in healthcare in 2021. I worked for an agency called Access Nursing, and they provided similar one-to-one care, but it was more in the hospital. So they were like very VIP patients. I had a lot of celebrities. I had a lot of famous people that I've spoken to or dealt with, because the rates were through the roof, man. But it would be like during, you know, hospital for special surgery, Weill Cornell, but business was booming because it was during COVID. So you weren't allowed to have somebody there during maybe like 12 to 8. So people would call us needing overnight assistance, 8 to 8 or 24-hour care. So business was booming because they weren't allowed to stay in the hospital. You had to leave because of the COVID mandate. So I was pretty much doing the same thing I do now, but with them. But I was also doing scheduling too. So it was like I had experience with all of it. So I did take a year off of work because we're probably going to get into later. But I did that for about a year and a half. And what I'm doing now, I'm about to make a year next month. So
I feel like that'd be the worst spot to like meet a celebrity while they're
yeah,
sick.
it's
imagine they COVID. Y'all can get a picture, bro.
I can't say name because of HIPAA laws, but I did speak to somebody that had a big affiliate with the NFL player. And I was like, damn, man, I wish I could just ask for a jersey, yo. Like, that'd be crazy, right? But it does give you a different point of view because, you know, when you in, I would say sales, right? You so you guys are everybody at Starbucks, right? Like, deal with a lot
Kind of, yeah.
deal with a lot of dickheads, right?
Yeah.
And like assholes. But the thing about me is that in the field that I'm at, I'm very, that it's in one ear and out the other. I tell people all the time, I'm like, my field, what I'm in, I can't be mad at somebody with an attitude or they're not there mentally, because if you're calling me, you're going through a lot already. Your loved one needs help. So I can't sit here and be upset that you had an attitude or you're upset or you're impatient, right?
Because you know where it's coming from.
I know where it's coming from, right? And it hits home, right? So I'm like, I've been in a similar situation. So I'm like, I never treat anybody different because I understand. And 9 times out of 10, right before I initiate care, I get a huge thank you. Like, you've been so much help. Thank you so much. Like, I appreciate what you've done. And I actually had a client the other day, you know, me and him been going back and forth. He's a lot going on. And he's, you know, he could come off as an asshole, I'm not going to lie. But I never really fed into it. It was always leading the conversation, redirecting it. And he sent me an email like at 6 a.m. the next day, like, I'm sorry for how I acted yesterday. I just really want my dad to get the care he needs, and I'm really worried. He's a 97-year-old man, and it affects me. You know, he's like, I don't know how old you are, but seeing your parents go through something, because we're servicing his mom right now, so he's looking to add additional care for his father. He's like, you know, seeing your parents, you know, on the last days is really hard. So I was like, you don't gotta apologize for that. Like, I'm here to help you. Like, that's my job, and I'm gonna do it. So no matter what feedback you give me, if I can help you, I'm gonna help you. So kind of left off it like that.
What drew you into like healthcare industry to begin with?
So I was working at Aldo, and shout out to Jonathan. I actually saw him yesterday at the barbershop. Funniest thing, I haven't seen him in that long. But yeah, I was working at Aldo, and I just kind of like reached out, and I'm like, bro, I'm tired of working in retail, and I'm like, I feel like I'm doing nothing, bro. I'm like coming in day to day, fixing shoes, right? I was a stock manager there, and then I went to sales, and then I went to assistant manager there, and I'm like, bro, I have no drive for this. Like, I'm selling shoes, I'm selling shoe care, I'm hitting all my KPIs. Like, I was always being shouted out, but I'm like, I go home, I'm not accomplishing nothing, bro. I sold somebody a shoe with some insoles, supposed to be proud of that, right? So, you know, he ended up leaving and going to the concierge one-to-one care, and he said, yo, they're hiring, like, come on over. And then from there, I like kind of fell in love with it, man. I was like, yo, I feel like I'm helping people, bro. And you know, the biggest thing is the HHAs too, like the AIDS. You know, like they are, bro. They work so hard, right? Like, these are people that come straight off the boat, Caribbean, you know, Jamaican, Haitian descent, you know, Asian descent, Russians. So you like, these are people that come over here like trying to figure out what they can do, and majority of them do go the HHA route, getting a certification, right? So it's like meeting those people, you know, that's a big hard thing for me, because like coming up rough and not having a lot, right? It's like I have people literally calling me, right? Like, do you guys have anything? And I'm like, I don't have anything. They're like, how am I supposed to pay my rent? I have my bills due. I have kids, you know, because they work on a per diem basis, right? So it's off your availability of when we have something. You know, you're not hourly, you're not on salary. If you don't get a job for a month, you don't get paid, you don't get any benefits. So they work check to check, but it's really like hour to hour. So sometimes they want 40 hours a week, but they'll take 16 hours a week because they don't have a choice, you know? So like a big shout out to them, man. Like, they work extremely hard. They deal with a lot, especially with like the dementia clients, Alzheimer's that can be combative or abusive, you know, like, and they just making right now, you know, New York implemented the minimum wage for home health aides is $18.55 an hour, so that's their minimum, but it's still not a lot, man. Like, inflation and all that, so it's like, it's hard. Like, that's hard, you know, especially being a people person. I'm very empathetic, you know, telling somebody that I really don't have something, and they're telling me that they have rent due, and what am I supposed to do? And I have kids, I don't have money, or like, hey, I have a case here, and they're telling me like I don't have enough for train fare. Like, it's very common, right? So I will put the word in, like, can we Uber them? And we'll Uber them. Or like a month ago, I went to the MTA, and I had a caregiver come in, and we had purchased a gift card, and I put $30 on a Metro card, and I told her to come in, and then I went up the block, got it, and then we gave it to her. Like, this is gonna get you to and from work for the week, but I was like, I put a little extra just in case you gotta go somewhere else, right? So little things like that is where we're like, you really need in my field somebody with a heart, but a lot of people work there for so long that they're like dead. Like, they have no heart, they have no sympathy, right? And that's the only thing in their business that I don't like. I'm like, these are people. I don't care how, you know, sometimes they can be very non-responsive or irresponsible or not reliable, but at the end of the day, they're human beings. And I just hate working when I feel like people don't treat others like they should be treated or like they're less of you, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much how I got into it. And I kind of like fell in love. Like if I could start over, man, I would really either be a doctor or a nurse, to be honest.
But what's stopping you from doing that now?
I'm very anti-school, to be honest. I think it's a scam, you know? And growing up, you know, everything was school in a way, but realistically, like, my parents didn't give a shit. Like, they were just more of don't fail because then I got to hear something, you know? And I was very scared of them, so I'm like, but I was very smart, like, you know? So basically what happened was in middle school, my parents had split. So when they split, you know, I didn't really feel affected because I didn't really have a relationship with my father, even though I lived with him. I was like, you know, it doesn't make a difference because he was a body. Like, he never, like, cared about us or put any effort. Like, I don't think I ever heard, like, an I love you. It was always, like, if I got anything from him, it was, like, frustration. Like, this, like, kind of like, dude was annoying, bro. Like, kind of like that. And then, like, I never asked for nothing growing up, like, at all. Like, if I had to ask for, like, a $30 item, it would take me, like, 2 months to build up the courage to even, like, ask because I'd be shook, like, shaking, you know? And then, like, I felt like I had to do a lot to get, you know, anything that I wanted, you know? And I was always the baby until my little sister came in after I was 10. So at that point, I was, I guess, a middle child because there's 4 of us. So, like, me and my older sister were the middle, but she was the first girl. So, you know, she got the princess treatment and all that. So, me and my brother I feel like we grew up the same way of pretty much being, like, blocked off, right? So, you know, growing up like that, the only thing I didn't want to get is in trouble. So I would be doing school. And I was very smart, so it was easy for me. So I was always, like, in the advanced classes and all that. The only feedback I would get is, like, I talk a lot in school. I was always getting in trouble for that. But then when they split, you know, my dad is pretty much like the bad cop, right? And my mom has just always been, like, guess the good cop, you know? But once I got older, I started realizing, like, nobody's forcing me to do anything, and nobody cares if I don't do it either. So me as a 13-year-old kid, you know, I missed a couple of days at school because basically what happened was when they split, my mom went to, like, a big depression. So she, like, completely forgot about her kids. So, you know, I would be waiting to get, because she used to drop me off at school. And I would be waiting in the living room fully dressed, and she would just get ready whenever she wanted and leave whenever she wanted. So I should be showing up at school like an hour late, 40 minutes late. And then I used to get in trouble, right? So they used to send me down to the guidance counselor office, like, hey, is everything good at home? Like, are you guys good? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but me being afraid of getting in trouble, I said it was my fault. So I was like, can I get a school Metro card? And I'll just start bringing myself to school now. So then from there, I started taking myself to school, right? My mom never asked or woke me up or whatever. So, like,
What age?
This is like 13. Like 13, yeah. Like 7th grade, yeah, like in the middle, like the early 7th grade. So then, you know, I would start missing school sporadically, you know, but again, not wanting to get in trouble, right? So that happened basically 7th, 8th grade. You know, I was responsible for that. But man, when I got to high school, everything changed, bro. So I ended up going to Murray Bertram in the city, which is like the top 5 worst school in New York. Like, it's bad. Yeah, they average like 6 fights a day. There was a precinct across the street. 2 years earlier, they had a brawl with cops and students that was on World Star. Like, it was a badass school, bro. But I only went there because I got introduced to my other siblings. I have 2 other brothers, half brothers, that we don't really speak now. But in that midst, I met their family, and they all went to Bertram, and they were like, it's a good school. We're there. Like, you should come. So my dumb ass put, you know, in 7th grade, you fill out the high school application. My dumb ass put Murray Bertram there, so I got accepted, whatever. So then from there, bro, freshman year, man, I started missing school, not waking up. I'm not a morning person, bro, so I used to skip school. And then long story short, like, bro, freshman year, I missed like 80 days. And then sophomore year, man, I only went to school 28 days out of the year. Damn. And that's that. The 28 days that I went, I never stood a full day. I used to go in, so my mom used to see me leave the crib. I used to go to lunch, play cards for money, and then right after lunch, I used to walk out and go home. And I never got stopped by truancy. Security was such a bad school that they used to let you walk out. And being that a big majority of the kids were not in a great predicament, right? It was very common for kids to miss school and never show up. Like there was gangs in my school, drug dealers in my school, and just kids that didn't give a fuck about school. And I could curse, right?
Yeah.
And like not in my school, you know. So it was. I never got a call that I was missing school. Meanwhile, I missed 100 and something days, 140 days of school. And I'm like, bro, I'm better than this, bro, but I can't fix myself. I felt like I was in a situation where my environment was not helping me, and I can't. You know, every day it was like I could do it tomorrow, I could do it tomorrow, I could do it tomorrow. And then I never started. So I said, yo, I got to change, bro. So that's when I ended up, you know, making the decision to move out to Massachusetts and live with my aunt and uncle. You know, these have been the closest people to me. Like, I consider them my mom and dad to this day. Like, I always visit them. I love them with all my heart. So I went to high school up there. Junior year, freshman credits. So I went up to school there for a year. I did summer school and everything, like trying to catch up, right? So I was on pace to graduate in 3 years because, bro, I'm smart. Like, I had straight A's, A pluses in every classes. Like, I'm talking about my second year there, I had stacks this high of college letters and offers from, like, the biggest colleges you could think of. I got in a letter from Harvard telling me that I had the top 10% GPA in the state. Like, I had, bro, honors. Yeah, bro, everything was honors. Some classes they were giving me just throw-ins because they had nowhere to put me, and I would have like 117% average because I was always doing extra credit. So I was like straight A's and all that. But I hated living over there, bro, because I felt I was going through a lot, you know, especially being, you know, a teenager. So implementing myself in a brand new household that's complete opposite of what I grew up in, I felt very uncomfortable. I had a lot of anxiety, you know, a lot of depression, and I never felt like I bonded with them the same way that we bonded not living together, you know. Especially they had 2 young kids in the home, so I just felt very overwhelmed, you know. So I ended up, you know, being a little bit rebellious, you know, unfortunately, and long story short, I got kicked out. So, you know, I got kicked out, me doing the best I could and put myself out there, right? Like, I'm on the right path. I got kicked out. I got kicked out a year exactly from when I moved in, the funniest thing. And then what happened was my dad was supposed to pick me up, right, to bring all my stuff in. A blizzard happened in Mass. So, you know, it was bad over there. So I said, fuck, I got to wait another week, man, because he's like, I can't drive up there. So basically what we did, we didn't talk. I didn't talk to nobody in the house. You know, I just went to school, and then right after I went to YMCA to play basketball. I was like, bro, I got to do everything to not be in that house. Of course, that same week I was supposed to leave, and I went to the YMCA. I broke my wrist. So I broke my wrist playing basketball. I had to call them, like, yo, my shit, it felt like a sprain. I'm like, bro, I'm good. Just give me ice. I looked down, bro, my shit was like this big, black and blue, and I couldn't move it. So I got an x-ray done. You know, there's 2 bones that come up, meet right here. I broke both of them at the tip.
Jeez.
So I didn't need surgery. They put me in a cast, and we were still not talking. So like 3 days later, my dad came. I didn't speak to them still, so I had to move all my shit with one arm back into my dad's car. My dad didn't even want to speak to them because he was mad, right? Like, what the fuck, you're kicking him out for? So I had to move all my stuff, right, with a broken wrist, in a cast, and then I had to move back to New York. Now I moved back into a room that was maybe a closet. Like, it only fit a bed and a dresser, like bed and dresser in front of it, and you had no walking space. I had to move myself in there with a broken wrist. And then I sit there and I'm like, I'm back here, and all my like I feel like I just wasted my time, you know, like what now? So I went by myself to the Department of Ed with my transcripts, and I'm like, look, I did all this work. I was on pace. And the guy was like, your credits from that school is not transferring over, majority of them. So he was like, is either you get your GED or you're going to do another 4 years in high school here. Meanwhile, I'm 17, about to turn 18. And I'm like, I was like, damn, bro. I'm there like by myself, my transcripts, like my cash, and I'm like, damn, bro. So I was like, he was like, yo, I'm going to let you know right now. I had the same thing happen to me, bro. I was locked up. I got my GED. And he's like, if you get your GED, you can still go to college. And he's like, if you're a standout, you got high GED grade, you're going to stand out. He's like, if you look at your transcript, bro. Like, you could do it. So I did that. I took classes in Jamaica Hospital, basically being a dental assistant / GED classes. It was like a program, and I got paid for it. My dumb ass never went to the school because I was like, I'm not going there, fuck that. So I never went to the school portion. I only went to the dental assistant portion to get my certificate. And then the lady was always like, you're so smart. I just wish you came to class more to be an example. you know? So she was like, you don't need these classes. She's like, you're so smart. So I ended up still not listening to her. My dumbass was doing whatever I want. I went to take the GED. I passed with the top 5% of the state. So they give you to get like a certain award. And I'm like, well, that shit was light. So I got my GED and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go to college. Nah, I ain't do that. I started working. And then from there, like, yeah, like that's the story with like the education part. And I'm like, I never felt like, I always felt like school was a scam, bro. Like, I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to pick a major and I got to do X, Y, and Z classes on top of that, except for focusing on my major. And then I'm going to be thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. I never saw it. I was like, I don't think college is good unless you know exactly what you want to do. And the only way to get there is through school, like nursing, like being a doctor. But right now, I feel like my age, I don't have a passion for that because I found a passion somewhere else, which realistically I make way more money anyway than being a nurse and doctor, right? So I took that route of doing like online classes that's not with school. It's kind of go as you go. I purchased a course, right, which I'm still struggling to do, right? But I have my path. And that's why I feel like, fuck that depth shit, you know. I'm going to go my own way. And it was a $50 course that I got on sale from $300. And I can do, and I can make X amount of dollars eventually, you know. So that's pretty much how I feel about school.
Do you feel like because you didn't choose that route that it was just better for you?
Like school in totality? I feel like if I grew up in a different household, I would have been in a better place now. I have the work ethic. I just struggle with the consistency. I've always struggled. I'm Ecuadorian and Puerto Rican. I don't really associate with my Puerto Rican side, but my Ecuadorian side as a culture, I can say that they seek sympathy. I feel like the best way to put it. So everybody's a victim, you know, and they victimize themselves. And I feel like I grew up so much around it that I started hating it. But I have tendencies like that, where I never seek sympathy. I would rather you understand me than apologize or tell me you feel bad for me. I would really just say, just stop talking to me if you're going to say you feel bad for me. Like, that's the first thing I say. But I felt like I've always had a why me, or I can't do this because, like, even the gym, right? Like, I remember when I first started the gym, like, years ago, I was drinking my protein shake, and my mom is like, why are you working out? You're always going to be skinny. Like that, but that's how she grew up, and that's what they think. Like, you can't do what you want to do. It doesn't work like that. Like, you go to school, you're not going to get X, Y, and Z done. Like, they stay stuck in their place, and it feels like it's a competition, like who's doing worse. Like, if you go to a party with Ecuadorians, I always felt like it was like oh yeah, my pain here, and oh yeah, I have that pain plus this, or no, I'm going through X, Y, and Z. I've been sick for a month, and it's like, it's a sympathy party, bro, and I hate that. So I resent that a lot. So that's why I feel like that's where I get my motivation from, to put in other places where, like, I'm not going to be like that, bro. Hell nah. I'm the opposite. And that's how me and my mom don't get along. Like, we're just complete opposites as a person and a mentality and all that. I'm completely different. And my family, it feels like that. Like, it's consistencies of the only people that make out are the standouts. And it's a very select few, you know. But then again, it's like I don't have a lot of family either. So there's not a lot of role models around. You know, so I feel like I'm never going to look back and say I could have did it different, because my life is on its own path and I'm going to be where I got to be. So I'm never going to regret nothing, you know? So I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. I could have been somewhere else, but maybe I wouldn't have loved it. I would have been 4 years in college, and a profession I would have hated 5 years from now, you know? So I try to keep myself like on that mindset, but not using that as an excuse to be lazy. You know, where it's like, that's how people use their comfort. You know, I want to be uncomfortable. Yeah. You know, so that's where I kind of focus my motivation and consistency of, don't be like them, you know, or just be a better person every day you can. You know, so that's why I wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, go to work, try to pick up another hobby and try to do something that I can make myself better than yesterday, you know? But it's hard. As people don't talk about, it's hard. No matter how easy you do, if you do it for a month straight, it still was hard every single day, you know? But that's how, you know, I try to go with that.
Yeah, it's because that energy is sticky too. When you have that mentality that it's like, everything's happening to me, it rubs off on everybody around. Yeah,
kids are sponges, yo.
Kids are sponges. Getting away from it.
Yeah.
I could tell you one person we know that it's like a dark cloud over them all the time. It's like, you don't want to be around that ever. And it's like, once that energy attaches to you, it's really hard to get rid of it. Yeah, like, once you're in that type of mindset already, it's just,
you can only do it by yourself. That's what people don't understand. Like, you don't need a therapist. She can help you, but all she's gonna do is bring it right back to what you already knew, and maybe you didn't want to discuss with somebody else because you felt judged. But at the end of the day, you're the person that has to wake up You're the person that has to do it. Nobody's gonna do it for you. And that's why I think what's wrong with society nowadays is that people don't understand that the work comes from you. You don't get motivation from somebody else. That's very temporary. Because when you wake up and you want to snooze your alarm, David Goggins is not talking in your ear, right? Or, you know, your aunt that made it out the hood or whatever is not talking in your ear. And whatever you felt motivated that day, you might not wake up as motivated that morning. So it's up to you. Like, nobody can force you to do anything.
It's just discipline at that point. I was always an advocate for you get motivated in certain spurts, but you're always going to have that discipline to really back you up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not always motivated to go to the gym, but it's my discipline that keeps me going every week. There might be a fucking 6'2", 250 brolic dude just benching like 3 plates. I'm like, nah, I could do that. Motivation for a week. It's like, damn, bro, I really can't do it. But it's just discipline consistently keeping me going.
Yeah. Nah, I definitely experienced that going to the gym is comparing yourself, right? Like, oh, man, like, look at him. He was my size. In 3 years of dedication, he looked like him. Nah, man. It got to be like, yo, bro, I'm not how you look when you didn't go to the gym, right? Which we'll get into, you know, about my weight fluctuation and what I've been through. You know, it's definitely changed my mind dramatically. I'm not the same person that I was, you know, 2 years ago. I'm really not, you know. So that definitely changed me. So I wasn't the same person 2 years ago. I was an immature kid, you know, with a lot of flaws. But I've always been open to, I'm a harshest critic. You know, I judge myself really, really hard. I tell my shit I ain't shit sometimes, or fuck is you doing? Like, what was go with you? You know what I'm saying? But I changed a lot, you know. So I know he knows, but I went through like a big medical scare.
You mentioned it before. You took a year off from what was it? The first
from work, yeah.
From work. What happened during that time?
Yeah, man. So basically, early 2021. I would say in March. That's where it started. I went to Rumble, which is like the gym, interactive gym you work out. So I went with an LD one day, and you know, part of the exercise is the treadmill. So funny story about that too is that it's you running, but you have to manually edit the speed while you're running, like touch it.
Yeah.
I try to hit like expert. It hit like above that. So that shit started. Like I was like taking off, bro. Like I remember I can't slow down. The funniest thing was a wall behind me. I'm like, if I fall, I'm cracking that wall. So I'm just fighting for my life in the back, like dong 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 dong, and I finally hit it. Dude, I was running crazy that day. And when we left, I was limping a little bit. I'm like, damn, bro, this shit kind of hurt. You know, but I play sports all my life. That shit was not, pain in my joints is not out of the norm for me. You know, so it was hurting for like 2 weeks. Like a week later, after that, the third week, it kind of went away, like 95%. I'll never forget that. And then we come back in spurts, go away, come back in spurts. And it was always pain in my knee. And I'm like, bro, this shit's annoying. So then I would say like in April, May, it started getting like badder, like worse. And I'm like, damn, bro, this shit hurt, you know? And I'm like, this shit not feeling normal. You know, I can't do normal things. I can't run. Walking hurts a little bit. Going upstairs is a little difficult. But it will always fluctuate on and off. And then I would say the summer, yeah, maybe like June, July. I don't remember exactly when, but I think it was in May, actually. I'm lying. So in early May, late April, you know, I was like, I called my aunt, who's a nurse that lives in Massachusetts, and I was like, yo, I'm feeling this, because I'm the type to go to the doctor. Like, bro, like, I play sports. I got heat. Yeah, I'm going to walk it off. I just got to ice it. It's going to feel better eventually, but it was not getting better. It was getting progressively worse, you know. But, you know, like, not horrible. It was getting slowly, but I'm like, I'm wearing and tearing this shit down. So I called her, and I had every symptom, bro. I'm talking about, if you Google it right now, I had every single symptom of a torn meniscus, bro. And I was like, that makes sense. It just makes sense. I was like, I play sports all the time. I'm working out. I be running. I go to the gym, work out. I'm like, it just makes sense, bro. Unfortunately, I tore my meniscus. And I'm like, of course me, right? Of course me. So I was like, damn, this sucks, you know? And then I remember the reason I didn't go to the doctor is because I had went from the first job. I was under the insurance. And then I was like, I'm going to the doctor. I'm never going to the doctor. So I'm paying all this money out of my pocket for health insurance when I can still be under my mom's. So I was like, transition back to my mom's. The whole time, I couldn't go to the doctor because I was asking her, like, yo, like, what's up with the insurance? Like, can you send me my card so I can go? She's like, oh, I don't got it. when they transferred, because she had gotten like a promotion. They're like, when they switched over my roles, it like canceled the insurance, so they're gonna put it back on. So I was like, I bet, like, let me know. She said it could be up with for 30 days, and I'm like, damn, that sucks, but all right, let me know. So I wait like 30 days, and this is when we bring towards the end of April. I was like, yo, what's up? And they're like, oh, they still don't know what's going on. Now they're saying 90 days, and I'm like, bro, like, can you help? You know, like, tell me what. Can you not, or can you not? Can you, or can you not do it? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, I don't trust her to be on top of it, you know, but I'm in pain. So I said, yo. So I went to my job. I went to the CEO, and I'm like, look, like, I'm in a lot of pain. It's been getting hard and worse for me to get to work. Like, can you help me out with bringing me with the health insurance? I was like, I tried to sign up. They told me I had to wait till the enrollment period. And he's like, I got you, because we were close. So he called me one call to the HR assistant. They put me through. I spoke to everybody. It was great insurance, by the way. Amazing insurance. He was like, you know, you got to wait a month. You got to wait, because I did that in the beginning of May. And he was like, you got to go wait to the 1st of June to have it, you know, active. So once I had that, I went to my appointments. I scheduled everything for a physical and to like, you know, PCP to check up on my needs, to get a referral, to get an MRI or X-ray. By that time, man, like, I was struggling to walk. Like, my knee was like huge, bro, like swollen. It hurt like a bitch to walk, you know. And I went in, and I couldn't keep my leg straight. And that time that I wasn't using my leg, my muscle in my leg was drooping. Like, I had no quad muscle there. Like, it looked like I was melting. You know, so I went to the PCP, and he was like, look, I'm like, yeah, I think I got torn meniscus, whatever. And I analyzes it right from the outside, and he always had a look on his face like what the fuck? Because it was swollen, you know. And he was like, I can't put it straight. So he's like trying to push it down. I was like, I can't put it straight. It always had to be like a slightly bent. So then right after, he put me a referral to get an MRI. So I say the MRI was like 3 days later. So I went to get the MRI. Cool. I got the MRI through NYU, you know. So the thing with NYU is that you get a portal app, right? So you make a profile, you know, you associate it with, you know, the patient, and then you get notifications right away. So what I didn't know is that the way that New York was structured is that they had to send your results in even prior to a doctor going it over with you. So you would get your results right away, like a text message, like, hey, you have a new chart. So you click on it, log into NYU, and you have everything, like your images, the diagnosis, or the, you know, like that. So got the MRI, and I'm like, yo, finally, I got the ball rolling. Like, this shit hurt. I'm gonna get my surgery. You know, the recovery's not that bad, right? It's like 6 weeks is like the worst of it, you know, because it's a meniscal tear. So I was like, damn, I hope I would just tore one and not the other side, but whatever. So I'm like, damn. But I'm happy, you know? I'm like, but I'm still tired of being in pain, bro. Shit hurt. So then I remember I was working from home that day, and I figured that day, you know, and I start work at 9, and like at 9:15, 9:20, I got a text from NYU, like, hey, your chart is uploaded. And I'm like, let me go into my chart, you know, and just see, like, let me laugh about it, like torn meniscus. Like, I knew it, or God forbid, like a torn ACL or MCL or PCL, whatever the case may be. So then the first thing you get is the notes, and then you can click and download the pictures after. So I'm reading I'm not a doctor, but it's pretty obvious. Like, you know, they have ACL. I'm going, you know, tendon by tendon. I'm like, ACL intact, MCL intact, PCL intact, patella tendon intact, meniscus intact. And I'm like, I went through everything. I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, everything's intact. Like, what's wrong? And then the last thing, they have a paragraph. So then all I see is, damn, I don't know the exact measurements, but it was like a large tumor on femur head. And I was like, what? So I keep reading. I'm like, what the fuck? A cyst. There was a cyst in there too, like found. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? So I'm like sitting up, and I'm like reading it. And then it's all, the last thing I saw was osteosarcoma, you know? So I'm like, I don't know what that is, you know? But I'm like, I was working in the medical field, you know, and the sarcoma is associated with cancer. So my heart dropped to my fucking ass. And I was like, what the fuck? So I Google it, and osteosarcoma is bone cancer. Man, when I tell you, bro, my life flashed before my eyes, and I felt like the most vulnerable person, and I just dropped my phone, and I was like, I remember I just sitting there like rubbing my head, like I'm literally talking about, like, you know, like in a movie where somebody's like, somebody died, and they're like, no, 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 and they're panicking, bro. Literally, that's how it played out. I was like, no, I'm in my bed, like, no, 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 like, no, 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 literally just no. I kept saying no. My heart is, I'm anxious. My heart dropped to my eyes. My heart is boom, boom, boom. I pick up the phone again. I look at it, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on, bro? And then I click the image, man. Hey, man, when I tell you I seen the biggest tumor right on my femur head, I was like, bro, man, like, it's like you just see bone and you just see this mass. And it was large. Like, they claimed it as large. It was a big mass, bro. And I'm like, I don't know anything. So I'm like, I see this huge tumor on my femur head, and I see possible diagnosis, osteosarcoma. I think I have cancer. And I think it's so big I'm going to die, you know? So I texted my brother. He was home, and I was like, yo, come to my room. So he came to my room, and I'm crying, bro. He said, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, bro, you know, my knee, I finally let it out. And I'm hysterical, bro. Like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, my brother's a very, like, he gives off, like, military vibes. Like, he's very straight-faced. He won't show emotion. Even when you're at your world lowest point, he won't show emotion. I saw, like, him go pale and, like, turn into a kid, you know? And that freaked me out, you know? And I'm like, this is reality. And then, like an hour later, you know, no, excuse me, like 15 minutes later, the doctor calls me. And he's like, hey, Josh, like, you know, we see this large tumor and we're afraid that it's cancer. You need to go get this checked out right now. Like, right now. So I was like, all right, can I go in? Can you write me? He's like, I'm going to write you, you know, referral to go right up the block to get another MRI and an X-ray, you know, full scale. I think it was a CT scan as well. And he's like, from there, I'm going to refer you to some oncologists, some orthopedic oncologists. So basically like a specialist at bone cancer, basically, or cancer in the joint, you know. So I had a referral list from that. Yeah, and this is in June because I went to DR in May. And after that, I was like, bro, my shit's it's hurting so bad. So then, you know, my mom came home, like, I want to say actually like 40, 30 minutes after I found out. And I have no relationship with my mom, but I live with her. Like, I don't talk to her at all to this day. Like, we don't speak at all. I just in and out of my room, basically. So she's in the kitchen eating, and I just felt like a little kid, bro. And I walked up to her, and I'm like, I got to tell you something. And I'm like crying. I'm like, you know, I'm trying to like get it out. Like, I had, you know, my leg, you know, they found a tumor. They're afraid it's cancer. And she like broke down, like, what the fuck? Like, no, no, no. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay. I'm like, bro, I'm scared. I'm like, what do you mean, am I okay? You know, I'm like, no, I'm scared. For my first time in my life, I felt out of control of myself. I felt like I couldn't control my future. And there's nothing I can do, right? Like, I'm fully out of control. And that's one of my biggest fears. Like, I feel very uncomfortable in any situation that I can't control, you know? So, yeah, so right after I went with my brother, you know, I drove. I was driving with that shit in my leg, too. And it's my right leg, my driving leg. So I drove to the doctor, you know, the silence in there. He was like, yeah, you know, get this checked out, please. Like, you really have to go, like, as soon as possible. So I got the scan. You know, I'm going through the referrals, you know, and the funniest thing, we went to a DR, and one of the girls that we went to was Natalie's friend, and she worked at NYU, and she worked for an orthopedic oncologist there. But something happened that I think it was with my insurance that I ended up going with another one. And this man is heaven sent. Shout out to Kareem Azruha, bro. The best doctor I could have ever asked for, a surgeon, human being. Like, I am forever in debt to this man, like, for real. I met with him. So I'm going through a lot. You know, I just told my sister when she got home, my older sister. I didn't tell my little sister yet because me and her, like, a bond you cannot break. So I was like, I can't scare her. She's young. She's 10 years younger than me. So she was what? 11, 12 at the time? No, sorry. 13-ish. Sorry. One of those ages range groups. So yeah, and then I remember I had my results for my blood work too because I had to get a physical too. And I remember I called my aunt and I told her, and she's like, my aunt is another one. She's a nurse, so she's very black and white and very numb to anything in the medical field. Like if you're dying, she's gonna tell you you're dying, but she's numb to it, so she's not gonna be like, okay, it's like this is reality, you know. Like I said, I consider her like my mom, and they consider me like one of their kids. So I gave her a call, and she kind of reviewed the terminology, and she was like, "Yeah, blood work." So I sent her my blood work. And I'm talking about I confide in this lady. I wanted her to make me feel like safe. I wanted her to make me comfortable and make me like, "You're gonna be okay." And this lady doesn't cry. I don't remember seeing her cry before that, you know. And she reviewed my blood work and she started crying hard. Like, I love you so much, you know. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm crying now because I'm like, my comfort is scared, you know. My security blanket, if, you know, as old as I get, you know, the two people in the world aside from my grandma, you know, but she had passed recently, other people that can make me feel like a kid and I could like fall back on. Like if I really needed somebody, I can fall back on them. They were scared. And she reviewed my blood work and she's like, you have to go. Your blood work is very likely that you have cancer. Like my white blood cells were through the roof. I was super anemic. It was like sucking the fucking life out of me. That called my dad, and my dad was very like, you're gonna be fine. Like he was very numb about it. He was like, you don't know what it is yet, so don't freak out. And I'm like, it's so easy for you to say, right? Like, you don't have a large tumor in your body that you have pain for a while, and it hurts. And everybody in the medical profession is scared for me, you know? So then I met with the orthopedic oncologist. I'm with my sister. He reviewed my images. And when I tell you this man was so calm, cool, and collected, he reviewed all my images in detail, zooming in, zooming out, going layer by layer. He said, you know, I think this is called giant cell tumor of the bone. He was like, it's non-cancerous. He's like, I do not know anything until we get a biopsy, right? But he's like, I think I'm leaning towards that, but don't take my word for it. He's like, because if you zoom in, he's like, right where the tumor ends, you have bone forming. So I had like a huge tumor popping out, and then I had bone trying to form around it too. You know, your natural body's trying to, you know, recuperate. So he's like, that's not a sign of cancer. More cases than not, it's usually GCT, which is giant cell tumor of the bone, which is extremely rare. So he was like, I'm leaning towards that, but, you know, I don't know. But I'm like, you're so calm, cool, and collected. It's like freaking me out in a way too, you know. So I was like, okay, aside from that, okay. So I was like, if it's cancer, what now? And he's like, well, you're going to get the little tube here, you know, for the chemo, and you're going to start that, and that's going to be like a year process, you know. And he's like, we're going to have to resect your bones, you know, like cut majority of your, you know, like 25% of your femur, and probably the tip of your tibia. And he's like, from there, we're going to monitor it, you know, and then hopefully don't come back. Very calm, cool, and collected. I'm like, okay, so you just tell me I have to go, if it's cancer, I have to go to chemo, cancer treatment, and you're going to chop my leg off. That's all I heard, you know? And he was like, yeah, you know, but it gave me a sense of comfort. Like, he wasn't like, what do I do? Oh my God, this is the worst case I've ever seen. He was very like, whatever you got, we got you, you know? And I was like, okay, what if it's giant cell tumor of the bone? So I'll get into that. So then I got the biopsy two days later. He was very on top of it because of the size of the tumor. She's like, I got to get you in to do that biopsy, man. So I went with my dad. And like I said, I wasn't close to my dad either. Like, very high and by kind of thing. So he went with me, and he was very involved with that process, which I respect to this day. And I have a lot of love in my heart for him because of that. So he went with me to the biopsy. And, you know, he was nervous, bro. I don't see my dad nervous either. He was sitting next to me, like in front of me, just sitting in front of me while I'm in the hospital chair with the gown on. And we're just waiting to be called in. And he's just sitting there like antsy, bro. Like antsy, shaking, like doesn't know what to do with his hands, rubbing my leg, like comforting me. And he's not an affectionate person, you know. So this is new to me. So then they come in and they shave. And you guys can't see it, but I have the hairiest legs ever. So they shave a big portion of my leg. So I go in, do the biopsy, just go to sleep. I wake up, I'm in a bed, and I'm loopy. I wake up and I have this huge brace on my leg. Like, it has like metal in the back and it's like 10 straps that go across. And then my leg is wrapped up. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then, my dad comes in and and I'm still loopy. My dad comes in and I'm like, all I remember is blinking and I'm in the hospital, like, yada, yada, yada. So he comes in and I start crying. I don't know, I just start crying. And I'm like, I want to go home. And he was like, yeah, we're going to go. He was like, this is the second time I came in. He's like, the first time I came in here, you look dead. He was like, your lips are purple. He's like, I was feeding you water and they were trying to let you go, but you weren't even there. I was like, I don't remember that. He's like, yeah, I had to tell them, no, you're staying. So then he took me home, and I came home with the brace. And then he was like, I've got to get these biopsy results ASAP because whatever the fuck you got in there is huge and I got to treat it. He's like, usually it takes about a week. I'm going to try to get it to you by 3 days. So I'm like, all right. That was probably one of the worst weeks of my life, being that how I knew why you worked. I was like, I feel like I'm going to wake up to a phone call from a doctor or a text and find out I have cancer, So I went to sleep very anxious every night, couldn't sleep. I would wake up at 6 a.m, check my phone. I would try to keep myself up so I wasn't being woken up to a phone call, if that makes sense. Like I wanted to be awake, where I wouldn't have startled and be like hard in my ass, So then he said, I'm going to try to get it to you by 3 days. I'm going to expedite it. That shit came in on the 7th day, bro. Damn. So I'm like, every day I'm thinking I'm going to die. Most vulnerable person I've ever met, very emotional, crying all day, every day, right? Knowing that you can't change that. It's not a dream anymore. And nobody can help you right now. I felt helpless is the best way to put this process. So then on the 7th day, man, and I'm already out of work. So I told them I was going through some medical problems. So they put me on disability leave and medical leave. So they were like, you're good until January. We just have to submit the paperwork from your surgeon or your doctor, confirming that you cannot work. So I'm out of work right now. And I remember that 7th day, I woke up and I saw a text from NYU. And my heart just dropped. And I was like, I texted my brother. I'm like, can you come to my room? I was like, because I've been going through this for a week. And my mind ain't right. My body ain't feeling right. I'm anxious. I was like, I have to know already because I have to prepare myself to whatever it is. I got to fight it. So I said, can you come to my room? I was like, I have the results here. I'm not going to wait for the doctor because he's busy. So it's whenever he's available. That's the problem with getting the NYU portal, which he wasn't a fan of. He's like, if I have patients and I'm available at 12 and you're getting the results at 9 and you review it, it just feels like we're losing that touch, right? So I texted my brother, he comes to my room, and I was like, I got to know right now. I was like, I'm tired of being, not knowing what the fuck is going on. So he sat next to me, he put his arm around me, he's rubbing me, and I'm just clicking to the portal, I'm signing in. And then I'm looking for either benign or malignant, right? The cells, so benign is non-cancerous, malignant is cancerous, and a confirmed diagnosis from the biopsy. So I'm talking about I am shaking like uncontrollably. I'm probably pale, probably struggling to breathe too, So then I open it up and I just start reading and I'm like, and then I'm like, I'm good. He's like, you're good. And I'm like, yeah, it's non-cancerous. And it says giant cell tumor of the bone. So I'm like, I dropped my phone, dropped it, and I start crying like a baby, head down, bro, crying hysterically, telling everybody it's non-cancerous. Thank God, call everybody, told my friends, whatever. I was like, yo, it's amazing, bro. Thank God. My biggest fear is having a terminal illness, like cancer. My diagnosis is basically giant cell tumor of the bone. And I had a cyst in there too that was infected. So that's probably where a lot of the pain was coming from too. So then I go to the doctor. He calls me, but goes over it. And then we kind of go over in person, right? So he's like, this is what the next step is going to be. You know, the procedure that I want to do is you're going to take a pill for a month. That's going to solidify the tumor and make it hard as rock. And then from there, I want to carve it out, you know, and basically put a dead person's bone. No, sorry, I skipped a part. He wanted to take a piece of a vessel from my lower leg, my tibia, a vessel, a blood vessel. Wanted to carve out the tumor, put a dead person's bone there as kind of like a cap, insert the vessel inside so make the bone alive so it could heal itself, and then put a metal plate over it to keep it there so it can grow around it, and I have a working femur again. I was like, what the fuck did you just tell me, bro? I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, this is like an all-day procedure, probably like 10, 12 hours, you know. He's like, it's very complex, you know, getting the blood vessel from your lower extremity, putting it in there, attaching it, then putting the bone there. He's like, I was like, what does that mean? He's like, yeah, it's a dead person's bone. So you're going to have a dead person's femur head there. So I was like, all right, that's the plan. Telling everybody the plan, like, I'm going to be fine. He's like, you know, that's the plan, and then we got to just hope your joint, you know, it just doesn't collapse, basically. It doesn't break apart. That's the worst case scenario. He's like, but the point is we're going to have a femur head in your joint there. So then this is June, right? Yeah, July comes, and it's getting just bad, bro. And then I remember I had taken my older sister to Long Island to get her hair done with an LD. And I'm still driving with this shit in my leg, bro. I just put the brace on, I'm driving. I had to go to the hospital to get my script to submit to my job. So I'm on 2 crutches already. 2 crutches and a brace. That's the only way I could walk. So I go to the doctor, man, the hospital, and as soon as I walk in, man, I slip. You know, the floor was wet, my crutch flew, and my natural instinct was for my leg to fly up to, like, catch myself. My leg wasn't bending past this amount. I got it straight in that 2 seconds that I almost fell. The pain that I felt was so extreme. I was like, oh my God, bro. Like, I was like, my leg hasn't gone straight for a reason. And a jolt of momentum just yanked it straight with all that going on. And man, bro, from there, just like, oh man, from there, it just got so bad. I remember I went to the thing and I was like, it was hurting so bad. I mean, when I tell you that tumor pain, bro, he was like, I'm going to be very honest with you. I can't give you nothing to stop the pain. He was like, there's nothing I can do. I can stop surgical pain, you know, muscle pain. There's nothing for tumor pain. So I was popping Percocets all day, every day. And the biggest struggle that I had was the perks helped me sleep, but I wasn't sleeping. So I would sleep I'm talking about for months, I was sleeping maybe 4 hours a day. In pain all day, bad pain, bro, like horrible pain, like pain that I can't describe and I never felt to this day that I can compare it to. But it's one of those pains where it makes you feel sick in the stomach and sick in the head. Like, it makes your body just feel nasty. I don't know how to explain it. So I was off Percocets all day, bro. I couldn't hold food down. I would eat once a day, twice max. If I ate twice, I was throwing it all up. I couldn't sleep at night. And I was so exhausted that I used to jump in my sleep very hard. Like, boom. My leg again would snap. And even with the brace on, it would snap. And it would be like the worst pain. I'm waking up in the middle of the night, just like in agonizing pain, like putting my face in a pillow, like holding my leg, and there's nothing I can do. I used to wake up and just like sit on the toilet just to get away from my bed and just try to stop the pain. I used to sit up and rub icy hot, anything I could do. My dad was like, try weed. And I was like, I don't smoke. So, you know, my brother had given me a pen to try. It didn't help the pain at all. So I was like, I'm taking all these things and I'm like, nothing's helping me, you know. So I was going through a lot, you know. So I'm popping like Percocets every X amount of hours, you know. And it was fucking with me mentally. Like, I would feel myself like looking like, you guys watch WWE before?
Yeah.
I felt like The Undertaker. Like, my eyes would flicker. And I felt it for a while. And I was like, I'm tripping. Cause I feel like I'm hallucinating from lack of sleep. And I remember when LD came over and she recorded me sleeping. And I was there like twitching and my eyes were fluttering and my eyes were rolling back. And I woke up and I was like, quiet. And she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I've been feeling this for a while. I just thought I was tripping. I was like, I think the pills and everything is affecting my brain. It's fucking me up, you know, because Percocet, bro, it's strong. And I'm like, I'm barely eating, but I have to take something for the pain, you know. Couldn't keep water down, so I'm like, bro, I feel like this is fucking my brain, you know. I was like, I don't even feel right, you know. So then the whole process, you know, after that, you know, when I almost fell, the pain was so bad, I called my surgeon. I said, I can't wait the 30 days with this pill, because I didn't even got the pill yet. I haven't even met with the surgeon, with that specialist that, you know, specializes with the pill. I was like, bro, I don't think I could wait 30 days, man, you know, to solidify this. I was like, I'm in so much pain, bro. And I'm like, you know, I'm in so much pain every day, all day. I can't live like this, bro. And he was like, it's your call. He's like, the only risk is, you know, if we don't solidify it and we cut it out and it spreads somewhere else, that's the worry. It attaches somewhere else, or it goes into your bloodstream and goes to your lungs, you know. So I was like, bro, I don't care right now. I'm in that much pain where I'm willing to take the risk. I was like, bro, I can't function right now, you know. So then I had gotten, I'm talking about, this is months, bro. Like June is when everything hit the fan. I found out and the pain got bad.
Technical difficulties. You keep going.
Yeah, but like I said, like I found out everything like in June, you know, and I didn't get surgery till November 28th. So I had the worst of it, you know, when I felt like it went 0 to 100 from all of June, July, August, September, and basically all of November, because I didn't get surgery till the 28th. Just 5 months of me being in pure hell, bro. I can't walk, I can't do nothing for myself. So yeah, I called my surgeon. I'm like, bro, I can't wait, man. Like, I can't live like this, bro. Like, I don't even know how to explain to you guys. If like, there's one thing if you talk about X, Y, and Z, but every minute of the day I was in pain, bro. Like, since March, but it was the worst that I could explain it. Where it was 10 out of 10 was 5 months, from June to November. I was dealing with that, and I'm like telling him, like, yo, I can't wait the 30 days, bro, with that pill, you know. So he's like, all right. So the same procedure was supposed to take place, you know. And then I remember I got a CAT scan, a CT scan of the tumor. And I'm talking about, after all this, I'm going through the same struggle every day, bro. You know, pain, can't sleep, can't eat, throwing up, losing weight, feel like shit, off pills all day, feeling like I'm dying, can barely shower. You know, I'm doing a lot by myself, you know, but shout out to my siblings because they really held it down. We're not really close either, you know, but I felt like that brought us together a little bit. It's definitely the environment that we're in that we're not able to kind of click how we used to or want to. But I was going through a lot, man, during that. Like, I felt helpless, bro. You know what I'm saying? Damn. But yeah, bro, like, I needed a lot of support during that, and I feel like I did get, you know, enough, but it just makes you realize, like, bro, you got yourself only, bro. Like, even me explaining it to people and people feeling bad for me, you know, it brought a lot of frustration to me, you know. And I tell people, I'm like, yo, I feel when people go through something, bro, since I've been through it, I know how to address it, because I'm like, you know, when people go through something and they're like, yo, fight through it and all positivity, bro, I felt all the negative about it. And I'm like, man, if you're going through something, bro, like really, really extreme, like I did, I'll be very, very blunt and transparent with you, bro. Like, no matter what I say and support you, I can't help you. You got to understand that every minute of the day, you're in pain. So when I'm here doing a podcast or I'm at work and I'm frustrated or stressed out and I'm like, oh my God, why me? Somebody else in the world is going through something at that exact moment, and you're always going to be forgotten, bro. And I always felt like I was being forgotten, because no matter how much support I had, during your day you're distracted, and I could never distract myself because I was in pain every second of the day, bro. And that's where it's like a slap in the face, where it's like, damn, bro. And I've like sympathized with a lot of people that was going through what I was going through, you know, because I'm like, ain't nobody can help you, bro. Like, no matter how many times my girl came over, I had company here and there, bro. Once you leave, I'm back. to reality. And even when you were there, the pain wasn't going anywhere. You know, you're trying to distract me, but like you don't feel like yourself, period. You know, so I was going through a lot, bro. I really needed help. You know, I got it from my siblings when they could, but bro, I'm talking about like, reality hit me big, bro, on who's there for you and who's not. You know, and like I already told you, I'm an open book, bro. I don't care. I'll talk about anything. I don't care. Like, I defend myself. I'm by myself. My dad was very helpful during the process. You know, I never saw that side of him at all. Like, he would come bring me soup because I told him I wasn't able to eat. He never done that shit in my life. You know, and I was very appreciative of that. If I needed my room clean, my sister would clean my room, sweep, mop. They would do my laundry. You know, but majority of the time they were at work all day. So I'm talking about I wouldn't eat or drink water if I ran out until 5 o'clock at night. You know, so a lot of the time I was by myself. You know, and you know, the support from my mom, I didn't get any, and I lived with her. You know, she never really checked in on me the whole time. Our rooms are right next to each other. Never checked in on me, never asked if I was feeling, never asked if I needed anything, never asked if I ate or drank water. And I remember a couple of times I was like, hey, I ran out of water. Can you get me water? Like, I'm disappointed. I can't walk. I can't leave my room. You know, stairs, God forbid. You know what I'm saying? I'm on 2 crutches and a big-ass brace. You know, that's how I would walk. And I didn't go nowhere. She was like, nah, I'm not going outside. I already came back inside. I'm not going to step outside again. I'm like, okay. So I asked my sister, but she's not getting home till 6. So my sister would come home from work exhausted, go to the supermarket with the cart, bring me like packs of water. I asked my mom to cook. I don't feel like cooking right now. I'm tired. I'm like, all right. So I got frustrated one day. I was like, somebody buy me this shit and I'll cook that shit my damn self, bro. And my mom I just want a spaghetti, bro. Like the noodles and the ground beef. And that's when it hit me when I stood there cooking with 2 crutches and I'm like, I couldn't get the spaghetti and strain it because I had to put 2 hands on the pot and get it to the sink. And I was like, I'm stuck. And that's when all my anger, like, I felt so angry, you know, and I'm like, if I don't have my siblings, I don't have anything because nobody's here to help me. But at the end of the day, if I didn't have anybody, how the fuck am I going to figure this shit out? So I'm just like, how can I figure it out? And just what happened, my brother just got home from work as I was doing that. And as soon as he walked in, he grabbed the pot and strained it for me. And he was mad. He was like, why are you doing this by yourself? And I told him. And man, he snapped. He snapped. But it's just showing, like, it shows people's true colors. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I tell people I don't have a relationship with my mom, they're confused. And this has been for a long time already. And this is a reflection because I haven't done anything to her. You know, I've just been very cut myself away from that. But it's a reflection of, at my worst point, this is what she was doing for me. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? And my siblings stepped up. My dad stepped up. So it was like months of this shit already, you know. And then I remember I got a CT scan maybe sometime in September. And I got the CT scan, which is basically they do that prior to surgery. They want the full 3D image so they know exactly. So when they plan the surgery, they know exactly what angle, what they're cutting out. They're very detailed about it, right? Because they get the 3D image. Yeah, I got the CAT scan. I saw the results, man. And I could share pictures with you after. I got to find them. But, man, I'll tell you, all you see is huge blood vessels created from the tumor and attached to my artery in my leg. So all you see is just maybe 6 sprouted connected to my artery. And that, whenever that happened, that's why it got so bad so quickly. Because once it naturally, it's crazy. If it looks like when you plant a seed and it starts sprouting all these, you know, the roots. The roots. That's what it looked like. It looked like there was roots coming out of the tumor, and all you see is my big artery, and it's attached to it. So they were like, that's when it got bad. It had a source, so it was sucking all the blood and sucking the life out of me. And I was like, God damn, bro. Like, Jesus. So I saw the thing because the CT scan was very detailed. So you see is a dark red mass. And you see my artery bright yellow. And you see the veins attached to it. And And I was like, damn, that's crazy, bro. Like, life is crazy. Nature is crazy.
So that's where the pain was coming from, because it was just a bunch of
the
vessels
pain. The
to
pain came from the vessels attaching to it and feeding the tumor. So it started growing so fast compared to before. Like, it had all the resources it needed. And I remember my surgeon called me. He's like, so I got some bad news. And I'm like, what happened? He's like, the first surgery's out the picture. I'm like, okay. He goes, so the tumor completely destroyed your joint. He said, you have no joint left. So everything that inside your knee, the PCL, MCL, meniscus, it's all gone. He's like, the tumor ate it, consumed it. He said, you have nothing left. So I was like, what now? He's like, well, we're going to have to give you a complete knee replacement. It's going to be basically like a femur head resection and a knee reconstruction. And at the time, I didn't give a fuck, to be very transparent. I said, bro, do what you got to do to get this shit out of me. Like, that's it. I don't care what you got to do. You know best. Get it out. I don't care. All I cared is if you're going to tell me you're going to amputate my leg. That was one of my biggest fears. I was like, I want my leg. And I'm like, bro, like, I got to live the rest of my life without my leg. You know, so I said, hey, bro, do what you got to do. If that's what you got to do, you got to do it. So I didn't think too much of it, because I'm like, bro, I don't care, bro. Just get the shit out of me. I didn't realize that he basically said, your leg is never going to be the same. You're never going to have a joint. You're never going to have a functioning leg, right, basically. So then, man, it was like back and forth with the surgery, man. It just took so long. It didn't work with his schedule. So I waited like another month and change, bro, just to get a date. And I got like 2 weeks in advance. And he said November 28th. I said, I don't care when it is, bro. Yeah, first time I'm there. So, you know, it's hard to say in totality, but like I said, bro, all these months that went by, bro, every second of the day I was in pain. And mentally, not good. It's not good mentally, bro. Like, how can a person function correctly, right? And this is the problem where I feel like people that don't go through things and it's not their fault, they can never understand what people are going through. But when a person's smiling and they're happy and they're positive, it makes us feel like you're expecting us to be normal and we're not. You know, and people would judge you because of that, right? It's like, if I met you during that process, you would have had a different image of me as a person, you know, but you never knew what I was going through. And even if you did, it's hard for a human being being on the other side to fully understand and accept it. So even if I told you I was going through that, you would have just said, damn, that sucks. And guess what? You never would have thought about it again. You would have been just about your life, you know? So, so we had the surgery finally for November 28th. You know, I told everybody, and it's bad, bro. It's bad. At that point, I wasn't holding food down at all. I was throwing everything up. And the funny thing is, a lot of the foods that I love, I ended up developing a hate for it. So my favorite meal of all time, bro, was from an Ecuadorian restaurant a block away. It was chicharron, rice, and beans. Anytime I ate it, I would vomit, and I hated it. I hated the smell of the chicharron. I hated the smell of the rice. Eggs, too. Come on, bro. Bacon, egg, and cheese. I didn't eat eggs after that process for about a year. How much I hated the smell of it, because I just associated with how I felt. And I felt disgusted, and I would vomit it. So there's a lot of things that I love that I stopped eating, you know, because of it. So I remember, you know, the countdown is like, I can't wait to get this shit out of me, bro. But then, you know, one of the worst days of my life was the day before, bro. Because you have to not eat and drink, which was easy for me because I wasn't doing it regardless. But after 12, you know, to prep yourself for surgery. And then, you know, I was by myself the day before. Everybody's schedule did not click with mine that day. My siblings, my younger sister, I think it was on a Wednesday, so I think she was with my dad. My little sister, because obviously my parents would live together, so she'll stay with my dad on Tuesdays and sleep over and come back Wednesday. And my siblings were working late, so the whole day I was by myself, and that was one of the worst days of my life. Like, that feeling, like, that was the one day I felt like I had to be under my sheets in the dark. You know, I couldn't touch anything, my phone, like, I was shook. And it was like, I felt like I was leaving my life into somebody's hands, because God forbid something happens with the surgery, because all my blood work came back bad. Like, I was not a fit and healthy person at that time. My body was struggling, bro, to keep itself up to par, you know? And, bro, I just remember, like, my sister came home, like, at 8 at night, and she just brought me rice, and I took one spoonful, and I said, I can't eat. My stomach is like this right now. I can't put it down. I remember that whole day I was crying, bro. I was nervous. I was anxious. You know, it's just so hard to explain how you feel. You know, I just felt like this is all coming to an end, but it's also the beginning of something new as well, you know, that I was very fearful about. And I did develop a lot of why me, right? And then I also developed if not me, then who? And that made me like a warrior, bro. I felt like that I wouldn't project a lot of shit that I went through in my life on anybody else. And I feel like I'm equipped to handle it. So if anything bad happens to somebody, I would want it to happen to me. Like, if I could take the pain away from me, I would do it. And it's funny because before my grandma passed, you know, she was doing really bad. And I remember I looked at her legs, and her legs were fucked up. Like, you know, the muscle atrophy is no joke, bro. If you don't use it, you lose it. And I remember her leg was tangled, and I was like, man, if I could take her leg pain away, I would do it. And I was like 4 months after is when it started. And, you know, I was like, if I'm taking this away from somebody else, then I'm all for it. Like, I'm a warrior with that shit, bro. Like, if somebody's gonna go through it, I'd rather it's me, because I feel like ain't nothing could break me. You know what I'm saying? And I would say I've hit low points during the process. And to be very transparent, I would say there was just one night where I was overwhelmed, and I said, hey, if I don't wake up tomorrow, I wouldn't be mad. That's all I said. You know? And I was like, I'm not asking it. I'm just saying I wouldn't be opposed to it. Because one of my biggest fears in my life since I was a kid was death. Death freaks me the fuck out. So I was like, hey, bro, I was going through so much that night. I couldn't sleep. I was in so much agonizing pain. I said, hey, bro, if I don't wake up, I'm fine with that. Fuck it. Like, I'm tired of dealing with this pain. You know, so then, you know, I finally went into surgery the next day after the nightmare of the night before. You know, I don't even think I slept, bro. I was up all night just crying, shaking. So I go in, super calm, to be honest. Weirdest thing in the world. I had my sister and my dad with me. You know, he took me to the hospital. I got prepped. And walking around at that time, I was normally between like 165 and 168. They weighed me. I was 120 when I went to surgery. So I lost about 40 pounds, close to 50 pounds in the whole process. And I was like, damn. I was ribcage, bro. Like, I used to, when my girl used to come over, I used to wear a hoodie. Because I hated the way my body looked. Because I would shower and you could see my bones. You could see my ribcage. My stomach was inside. My legs were scrawny. I have videos. It feels graphic showing you guys. Like, it looks like I was dead. Like, it looks like I'm a skeleton walking. So I used to always wear a hoodie to hide that, you know, because I felt uncomfortable. And the funny thing is that my girl would be like, no, you still look so handsome. I'm like, you're fucking lying to me. I was like, you don't gotta make me feel good about myself. I'm like, I see my face. I look like I'm starving. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I went to surgery, man. Calm, cool, and collected. I was supposed to go in at 11. Man, I was waiting, bro. My surgeon comes in like mad late. He's like, I had complications with my other surgery, so they pushed me back to like the late afternoon. And I was just sitting there starving, bro. You know, nervous, and I'm just in pain. I'm laying on a hospital chair, you know, in silence for hours, waiting to go in. And man, bro, they come in. He's like, we're about to take you in, and I'm like, shit. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, bro, I'm shaking, bro, and I don't want nobody to talk to me. So my brother got there after, like, a little bit later, but they were all there talking, and I'm like, can we stop talking? Like, I want silence in here, bro, because I'm just there. So then they finally come in, and like, we have the wheelchair outside waiting for you. And I said bye to my parents. Oh, my dad, sorry, my siblings. I remember I was frozen, bro. Like, I wear contacts. I'm really blind, bro. So you can't wear, obviously, contacts or glasses. So I went with my glasses, but I had to take them off. You have to take everything off. My bracelet, chain, anything you have, you have to take it off. The craziest thing is that I'm signing off on all these papers for my surgeon. You know, it's like I'm just giving my life to him, you know. So he put me in a wheelchair and I'm frozen. I remember I just felt like in a movie. Like I literally sat there with my arms on the armrest and I'm just staring straight and I couldn't move, you know. And being that my sister said bye last, you know, and she spoke to me like I was her little brother, like a baby kind of, and I was just numb. And I remember they were wheeling me away, and being that I couldn't see, everything was blurry and everything was so bright, and I just had this lady wheeling me through a hospital, through doors, through corridors, and I'm frozen, bro. I'm crying. I'm just not crying like I just have tears running down my face. And then, bro, when I tell you they put me into the surgical room, bro, when I tell you that shit felt like a movie, bro. Like, I'm telling you, there was about 15 people in there running back and forth, like scrubs. Everybody's blue. It's so bright. It was freezing. Bro, the room was huge, bro. And I can't really see, so you just see a lot of. I'm talking about, I see people like handful of tools, bro, like tools, just walking back and forth, putting it there, and then they had to get me on the metal bed. So I'm on a metal bed, and bro, I see that shit so traumatizing. You have to lay on a bed, metal bed, flat, arms out, legs straight. They're strapping you up. They're putting IVs in my arm, you know. And I'm just there frozen, just staring at the ceiling. It's complete silence, you know. And I remember when they put me on the bed, the guy had yanked the thing under me and he hurt my leg. And the surgeon yelled at him. He was like, he has a fucking tumor in his leg. Be cautious. And I was just like, yeah, because he like yanked it. And I was like, I'm like, bro, like this shit hurt. So the surgeon yelled at him. And then I remember I'm just laying there and I just have everybody over me. And the surgeon's talking to me like, we're going to, you know, get this through. And then I just had the anesthesiologist above me, upside down, talking to me. He's like, you know, we're going to take a couple of deep breaths. All right, we're going to do 1, 2, 3. So he put the mask over me. And then take deep breaths and it's gone. Out. The surgery did take longer than normal. But yeah, then I woke up in the ICU. Not the ICU, sorry. I woke up in the recovery room. Sorry. And I remember I felt lost. I'm like, where the fuck am I? And the lady's like, are you okay? Are you in pain? And I'm like, I'm in pain, bro. And she's like, I'm going to ask if we can give you more fentanyl. And I was like, I don't care. Just give me something. And then so she got the confirmation because they're like, I heard them. They're like, he weighs X amount. He's already on fentanyl. He's going through this. His levels are here. They're like, give him a little bit. Like, monitor him, right? Because my body wasn't in great shape. So they gave me more fentanyl and help with the pain. And then my siblings were there after surgery. I don't remember them being there. My brother has a video of me there and it looked like I was half dead. But Winaldi was there. And I didn't expect her to be there. I didn't ask nobody to be there. And so I'm being wheeled. I don't remember, but she said I was staring at her like, why are you here? Who are you? And I remember I was being wheeled to my room, and then I realized, I'm like, why are you here? What's going on? You know, and they put me in the room, and I had to, like, drag myself onto the bed, you know. And, you know, I moved the blanket, and from thigh to ankle, my leg was wrapped in ace bandage. And, man, just feeling my leg, bro. Like when I finally woke up, I was like, bro, all I feel was metal in my leg, bro. And I'm like, what the fuck? It just felt like, I mean, I couldn't bend it, but I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, what is this feeling? You know, and then the next day, you know, when I had left to work and I was by myself, and that's when life hit me. Like everything hit me. I was crying. I wanted to be a kid. I couldn't believe this is my life. I was just by myself all day. And the World Cup was on, so I was watching the soccer matches, trying to distract myself. I had my phone, you know, watching movies, but I was drugged the fuck up too. So they gave me like higher doses of Percocet. I think I was on Perc 15. which is basically 5, because they come in 5 milligrams. So it's 3 of them. And I had IVs all over me. I had about 7. Because they were worried about complications during the surgery. So they were like, we need points in your body, just in case. So I had gone in the hospital, a lot of blood. I had 2 blood transfusions, and I still came out anemic. I had blood thinners because I was there, the blood clots to prevent blood clotting, being that I was laying down. I was drugged up. I had needles in me. I had IV in me all day. I had everywhere. I was covered. Both arms are covered in IVs everywhere. So I went through a lot that first day, which I don't have to get into. It's like, damn, like this happened to you, bro. First day out of surgery, that same day, they come in like, okay, you're gonna walk today, right? And I'm like, bro, I haven't walked in months. What do you mean I'm gonna walk? So they were like, physical therapy and occupational therapy came in, and they're like, we're gonna make you walk up and down the hallway with the crutches. You're gonna put some weight on your leg, and you're gonna go up and down stairs. And I was like, what are you talking? Like, does this not feel rushed to anybody? But the problem is that with the procedure, the scar tissue could build up. So that, like, unfortunately, you have to be active. You have to keep bending. You have to prevent it from locking up or being stiff. So I remember they were like, you got to get off the bed. So I remember I dragged myself off the bed, and as soon as my legs went over where the bed stops, gravity just brings your leg down. I felt the worst pain on my leg. I was like, okay, my bad leg started bending down. Remember, I have a brand new joint. So I was like, oh my God. So I had to put my other leg and swift it up. So then I drag myself off, and I'm on crutches, and I have to walk. My sister just walks in. So I'm like, it felt like my leg was a crutch, how straight it was. So I'm walking, and then I'm going upstairs. I stood in front of the steps. It was 3 stairs up, flat, 3 steps down. I stood in front of that for about 20 minutes. And I said, I've never felt PTSD until now. It's real, because I was telling my body to move and try to step, and I couldn't move. I was like, they were like, we don't have to try it today. I was like, no, I'm literally trying to do it. It's like, my body's not moving. I'm like, I'm telling myself to take a step, and my body wasn't working, bro. I was like, this is so weird. But eventually I went up and down the steps. It was hard, but the stay in the hospital wasn't bad. I didn't feel super pain because I was so drugged up. But then when I saw the images of my new joint, I can show it to you. I have that. I don't know if you guys want to see it now or later. That's up to you guys. But yeah, so I can show you.
Let me take a break real quick.
Yeah.
You continue. Recovery part.
Yeah, so back into the recovery. I spent 3 days in the hospital. They wanted to monitor me. Met with the surgeon, and I was just like, yo, bro, thank you. Like, thank you for saving my life, basically. So I spent a few days in the hospital. I got more comfortable walking around, walking around with the crutches and everything. But it definitely felt like I had pure metal in my leg. And when I saw the pictures, I have rods. I have a rod going up my femur about 60% up the way. And I have a rod maybe about 30% to 40% going down my tibia. And I have a makeshift femur head. So it's a fake femur head that's metal. And I have basically a fake joint on the tibia. So it allows the joint to go up and down. So the only thing I still have is my kneecap and the patella tendon. So big emphasis is bending so the patella tendon doesn't get stuck or wedged or in any way, and then that causes a buckle. So I would buckle a lot. So my recovery being that I was supposed to start on a walker, but since I've been on crutches for months, they were like, you're so advanced with the crutches, you can just start with the crutches, go to the one crutch, then a cane, then a brace, and then free. So the problem was my insurance didn't cover physical therapy, but it did cover 100% of my surgery, which the biopsy came up to about $30,000.
Oh my.
And my surgery itself was about $525,000, so a little bit over $500,000 for my knee surgery. But it didn't cover PT, so I was like, I don't know what to do. My brother used to work for a physical therapist, and God bless them. They said, I'll do it for you and I'll do it for free. Man, physical therapy had to be the worst part of it, bro. Not the worst part of it, because it stopped. But that hour I was in there had to be legit human torture, bro. Because remember, I haven't bent my leg in months already, but the emphasis on it is bend your leg. I had no muscle there. So part of my diagnosis is also muscle atrophy. So he was surprised that I even had muscle back in my quad. He said, you had so little there. I was surprised you even got it back. They assumed that I was never going to get my muscle back on my leg because of how little I had there. So I did physical therapy for a couple months. And, bro, when I tell you, a grown-ass man used to be screaming in that fucking office, bro. They would forcibly bend my leg because they had to. So I would get like electrical therapy to shock the muscle, you know, do some leg raises, some bikes, you know, some bike work, which is really painful. You know, it was really painful. I would my surgeon was like, pop a Percocet before you go in. That shit didn't do shit. She didn't do nothing. He's like, pop a perk before you go to PT, so you know you won't feel as much. That ain't do a damn thing, bro. So the worst part is when they used to bend my leg. So they made me lay on my stomach. She put my leg over her shoulder and just started pushing it towards my body. That pain was probably 11 out of 10. They had to stop a couple of times because I would go pale. I would start shaking. And they were like, I think that's it for today. Like, we can't push you further. Like, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm about to pass out. So I did that for a couple months. Excruciating is not the word, bro. I probably had the worst physical therapy in the world. Like, that was such a process, you know. But, yeah, I had to live my life. You know, that was, you know, November 28th. I got my surgery. I started PT right after. And then, you know, I'm still going through a lot of stuff mentally, getting myself right. You know, like, you got to go past it, right? You want to live the rest of your life, so you got to get yourself on par and accept, which I still haven't accepted. It's been about a year and less than 2 years. I still haven't accepted it. I don't think I'm going to accept it anytime soon. But it's not, I don't think about it day to day. Some days I wake up and I'm like, damn, B, like, this is your life now. But, yeah, you know, I met my girlfriend's parents for Christmas. It was a lot. You know, going there feeling vulnerable. I'm on crutches, 2 crutches. Actually, that was my first day I started the 1 crutch, actually. Mm-hmm. A month after, I met her parents at her home and had 1 crutch. That was the first day I started ambulating with 1 crutch. And then I met her family New Year's here, actually. So I met Adrian in this basement on New Year's Day. I came in with my 1 crutch. I had a hoodie and sweats on because I didn't want to show how skinny I was. I just got a haircut finally. I didn't go for a cut for like months, bro. So I was furry, bro. I was wolfing, bro. Because I shave myself. I have a barber razor. I'll shave my neck, my sideburn, my mustache. But this, nah. That's crazy. So I got a haircut. So it was a lot, you know. And I didn't take well to any sympathy that was given to me. It was just like 1 ear, 1 out. And I remember like it's a lot of mental battle trying to put yourself out there because I'm the person that doesn't like sympathy or attention. And I'll never forget, I had to use the bathroom and I was sitting right there. And there was so many people who had to walk around everybody. So everybody stopped what they were doing to move away from me. And it got quiet. And I was like, I'm so uncomfortable. I was like, damn, bro. Everybody started moving. Everybody started pushing. Everybody got quiet. I'm on my 1 crutch. I had to squeeze my way through there to use the bathroom. When I sat in the bathroom, I'm so uncomfortable. I was like, that's what I didn't want. I don't want all eyes on me, like poor him. I don't want that, you know? But I would say the recovery process was definitely, I'm still in the recovery process, you know. Meet up with my surgeon every 6 months to a year now. But yeah, I have brand new reconstructed knee. I have a nice juicy scar. It's about 12 inches long on my leg. You know, it's going to be here for the rest of my life. The problem is that it's supposed to last X amount of time. So I'm going to have to get the surgery again in the future. And just kind of had to accept that, you know, I got it when I was 24. And God willing, I expect to live longer than 48. So I'm probably going to live my life longer with it than I was without it, you know, and that's going to be reality. But my life has changed completely. I was very into sports. I was a very active person, you know. I ran once since this happened. I was playing flag football for a friend's son's birthday, put on cleats, just messing around. I was like, I'm just going to play quarterback. And I was running a little bit. It's weird. Felt like I accomplished a lot, but it's still hard, man. Like, I still can't go downstairs right. especially working in Manhattan, going up and down those stairs at the subway, feeling rushed. You know, it's annoying. Going upstairs, I'm good at it, but it's still uncomfortable. But it's something that I so far have not. You know, majority of things in your life that change, if you have pain somewhere, eventually it goes away or you get used to it. It still doesn't feel like that. I feel metal in my leg all day, every day. So right now, it feels like metal. It literally feels like if you have a metal knee. That's the best way. Whatever you think it could feel like is what it feels like. You know, but I had a long process the first year of once I got my surgery. This is what I was kind of alluding to before. People think you're normal now. People expect you to be normal. People expect you to be yourself and have a certain standard for you. But I was going through a lot mentally. Because in January, so I got my surgery in November. 2 months later, in January, my job called me and said they fired me because I wasn't ready for work. Because disability insurance only covers your ass for about 3 months. So right the day of the cutoff, I remember I was in a parking lot and I was just laughing like, what else can go wrong, right? I was like, they just called me and said your position is, that's it, you're done, like you're fired, you know. So this is where the kind of non-working portion of my life kind of came in, right? That was, you know, once I was ready, you know, done with physical therapy, I started going to the gym. You know, I felt like I wasn't making much progress on what I was doing because of the person I was going with. I felt like it was more like strength training and I needed mass, bro. So I went into surgery about 120. When I met you guys, I was about 140. So I was still frail. Right now I'm about 180, you know. So the recovery process was long, man. I'm still recovering, you know. Like I still, just getting up for the bathroom just now, my knee's stiff. It hurts a little bit. I have to warm it up for me to eventually get walking. If I drive long distances, it hurts. A big point of my life is sports, you know, and that's been taken away from me. You know, I think about it all the time where I'm like, I wanted to be active in my kids' life, play sports with them, be interactive, train them, you know, show them, and I feel like that's been taken away from me. There's a lot of times when I should be doing or could be doing something and all I have to do is laugh it off because I can't do it. I'm like, no, I'm okay, but I want to do it. I would have did it before, you know. So I feel like a lot has been taken away from me, but like I said, I can't sit here and indulge and play the victim, which I think I naturally was doing in the first year. You know, I've gotten into it. I lost a lot of friends. I've cut off a lot of people. I feel like if you weren't there for me, you're not really my friend, you know. And it's not that it's animosity there or like I look at you different. It's just I clearly don't need you in my life. If you don't affect me in my worst time, what benefit do you bring to my life? I'm not a person I feel like I need. I'll cut off anybody. Like, I'll cut off. You're my family member. I don't give a fuck. I'll cut anybody off. Like, that's just how I am. You know, so I feel like people expected me to be mentally right in that moment or that year. You know, oh, he's walking. Everything's fine. It's not, you know. So I struggled a lot once my unemployment ended, bro. Like, I was going through a lot, man. I couldn't find a job. I wasn't eating. I couldn't afford anything. I couldn't ask for help. You know, I was broke. I was dead broke. And being that my world stopped, but the world around me didn't. Mm-hmm. My payments never stopped. My rent never stopped. My credit card debt never stopped. Nothing stopped. But everything that stopped was my income. So I hit rock bottom after. After all that I just told you about, I hit rock bottom. Where I was going days without eating because I didn't want to ask anybody for help. And I felt like I've asked enough from people. You know, I had to borrow money. I had to do X, Y, and Z. I had to go up to Massachusetts for weeks at a time just so they can take care of me. You know, like I remember one day I had $9 to my name and my little sister was hungry. And I said, damn. So I got her McDonald's and I just ended up not eating, you know. So I was going through a lot, you know, but everybody expected me to be normal. Everybody thought I was normal. Everybody that checked on me before stopped checking on me. My dad disappeared, you know. My friends that would check on me daily stopped checking on me. Everybody assumed that I was fine, but I was going through even more because I went through a shit show and depression and being in a horrible point in my life. And then on top of that, I had this to think about. So I was like, what is going wrong? What is good about my life right now? You know? So I went through a lot, man. Like, I was struggling financially. My credit card debt went through the roof. My credit plummeted because I had no income to benefit myself. And if I did had money, it was going right out because I had to pay somebody back, or I had to give some money for my car note, or I had to pay the rent. You know, I have responsibility with the internet bill. I'm responsible for things that I never stopped, you know, because I have to have it on my plate. There's no other way for me to go about it, you know. So I feel like I went through a long, rough time between when I got fired in January till about August when I started my job. You know, I got into arguments with people. People cut me off. People looked at me different. You know, people said that I was a different person, you know, but they expected something from me that I couldn't offer. You know, I was mad. I was mad all day.
It's like they expected you to be the same, even though you weren't.
I wasn't, but they expected me to, because what did they do to me that you're acting like that? It's like, nah, it's not that. I went through a lot, and I'm struggling with myself. I'm struggling to keep myself positive about me, because all I did was shit on myself that whole time. I'm like, you didn't do nothing to help yourself either. Like, what are you doing? You know? So I'm like, it was just a rough time of finding myself. You know, it did hinder a couple relationships in my life during that time. But I'm also not the type of person to just seek or move out for an apology unless I feel like it's needed. So if I don't feel like I owe you an apology, I'm not going to give you one. And also, I'm okay with anybody being cut off from my life, because especially if you're not family, I don't care. Like, I truly don't care, because, like, I'll cut off my mom, I'll cut off my dad. That doesn't affect my day-to-day. So who are you? You know what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like if you don't like me, or you don't like who I am right now, then that's on you, because I'm not going to change for you, because I'm trying to fucking figure out myself what I'm doing. So anybody that's bringing that negative light to me, I don't need you in my life. You feel me? And that's why my girl played like a big part in that. And I'm like forever in debt to her, because she never left my side. If I needed her, she was there. If I was hungry, she'd bring me food. If I needed water, she'd do that. If I needed to get a haircut, she would send me $30. Like, I was going through it, bro. And that's why I am very big on what have you done for me. And it's not that I need you to do something for me. It's more like what your intention was. Like, if you're always there when I need to talk to you, you mean a lot to me, you know. And I don't need the materialistic things. I don't need you to buy me food because I wanted food. You know, I just appreciate that you thought about it without me asking. Like, if you ask if I ate today, I don't need you to buy me food. The fact that you asked if I ate, you know that I'm probably not eating. And I'd be like, nah. Like, I'm telling you, I went like, have you ate? And I'd be like, I would lie. But then some days I'd be like, to be honest, I haven't eaten in 3 days. Because I have no money to buy myself nothing. I don't want to ask my brother. My brother buys me food every other day. I'm like, I have no resources. So I was like, some days I was just like, bro, I don't know. Like, I'm surviving. That's what it felt like. In that time, I felt like I really had to go day by day. Like, if I had $3, I would buy like a butter roll. And I'm like, should I save this for tomorrow, half? And I'm like, nah, like, I'm so hungry. Like, I'll be like, I'm going to eat this today and I'll figure it out tomorrow. Like, that's what my life felt like. Figure it out. Like, go day by day. Tomorrow, whatever you're stressed about today, if it could wait till tomorrow, it's going to wait till tomorrow, you know? But that's hard to do, you know? And eventually you just break down, you know? So, yeah, you know, man, finding a job was such a bitch, bro, nowadays. Yeah. You know, and I had a great resume. But, man, shout out to, you know, my old coworker who had put me onto this new job. And I've been there since. And since I've been there, you know, I've been doing so much better for myself. Everything has gone up in my life. I'm such a different person now, you know. I apologize to whoever I affected during that process. You know, if I affected our relationship, or you looked at me a certain way, or made conclusions about me that probably wasn't fair to me, but I can't expect it because I understand that you don't understand, you know, and I can't put that on anybody else. So, you know, I'm open to telling people, but I don't owe anybody anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to explain to you what I've been through for you to give me leeway, you know? So, yeah, I'm an open book, man. Like, I'll talk about anything, say how I feel, very opinionated. I put myself in other people's shoes a lot. So that makes me very empathetic because I understand what people are going through. But yeah, man, like, now I feel like I'm doing great. I feel good, man. Like, when I put all that weight back on, you know, I started going to the gym consistently. You know, I have a car. I have a plan. You know, I rekindled with my family in Massachusetts, right? We got closer than ever. Yeah, bro, I just feel like everything's coming together now as best as it could. And this isn't going anywhere. So I have to accept it. I won't accept it, but I'm also not going to make excuses or put myself in a predicament where I'm not going to do something because of it. You know, like it's not going to limit me. I'm just not going to accept it fully yet.
Do you feel like that's why you love your job so much, because in a way you're kind of helping out people that in a way that wasn't given to you, like in a sense?
Not necessarily. I say I love my job more because my grandma passed in March, and she had home care, and I know that they relied on her a lot. And you know, a lot of my clients pass away. A client passed away 2 days ago, and we're all we do is get thanks. You know, your aid was amazing. They really comforted my mom, my dad, my aunt, my uncle, my grandfather during his hardest times, and was there when he passed away, and we're forever grateful for that. You know, that's what brings me actual joy, is that I'm really helping people. Like, that's what I'm doing. And I don't see it as because you know, we are commission based as well. But I don't see that as a selling point for myself, because if I know I can refer you somewhere else, I tell people very bluntly, I say, I'm going to be very transparent with you. I don't think we're the best agency for you. This is why. And all I say is, I'm going to refer you here and there because my main goal is to make sure your mom, your dad gets the best care that they need. And I say that all the time. I always say, my goal is to get you or whoever your loved one is the best care that you can get. And if I don't think we're a good fit, I'm not going to sit here and treat you like a number or a metric or a KPI. I'm not doing that. And that's where it's got me far. And I got a lot of exposure in my job for it. You know, whenever they implement something new, I have questions, they always defer to me or my other colleague, because the way we approach it. It's the same. When people speak to me, they say that they feel like they're speaking to a person and not a robot. You know, where it's like, oh, I've been done with this X amount of years. I've heard it all. It doesn't matter. They're going through something right now. Just because you've heard it before doesn't mean that it changes how they feel. Like, I've been speaking to this client's niece, and he just been put on hospice yesterday. So he can pass anytime now, you know. But we were the comfort for her to leave him in a facility because we had the additional supervision. And that brought her peace, you know, and it brought the client peace because they don't have to buy themselves driving, which is crazy. You know, so that's what drives me. You know, this I don't really see a correlation with that. Maybe deep down, you know, but
like a subconscious thing.
Like a subconscious thing, but I never felt like I've done it or felt better because of what I've been through. The only time I feel like that is somebody tells me that they had like a knee replacement or a hip replacement or something like that. I'm like, I feel you, and I know what you need. You know. So if they like I don't know, this is my first time. Like I'm like, I know what you need. You're gonna need X amount of people for this month. Cut back here, and then you know, kind of address it there, and rekindle and see what you do and don't need. And that's what I do. You know, like I feel like I'm providing a solution for them rather than providing a business. If that makes sense.
Do you feel like that's something that keeps you like centered in regards to like your mindset and your mentality, even like knowing what you went through and you know how other people would feel? That feels like that keeps you just centered.
It does every day. Like if I close a case out and they say thank you, I always let out the biggest sigh of relief, and I'm like I did that. Like I helped it, and I have a list of families that I've helped, and they always say thank you so much. You've like helped so much. Even if they're not a client of ours, the information I provide, they say you are so informative. I have a better idea of what I do and don't need, you know, and you've definitely assisted with the process, right? And I'm talking about, ain't nobody can knock me off. I've had clients curse me out, X, Y, and Z, but it's because they're frustrated and going through something, and I've literally let them talk, redirect the conversation. I understand. Now, my job here is to help you. So I'm trying to do my best to help you and understand. So if this doesn't work for you, what can I do, right? Like little things like they call me, you know, it's supposed to be handed off like this aide is not a good fit. She just sits here on her phone. I'm not going to sit here and say like, can you give her a try? Can you tell her? I'm not going to make you do more than you should. I'll say, well, but when it comes to that,
no way.
So what are some things that you're looking forward to now in the future, now that you've been through all these things, you've learned from it, grown from it, it's made you a better person, it's helped you maybe subconsciously in your field? Like what are some things that you're looking forward to now into the future?
Definitely just making the most out of my time. Just 'cause I felt like I had this scare where I felt like I was gonna die. So honestly, just living my life how I want to live it, but, being responsible. Right now I'm really big into saving, and missing out on things for a bigger prize, which is moving out, right? And moving out of state on top of that. So I'm pretty much in that. I'm in the zone right now. As of the last couple months, work, very involved in work, putting my all in work, gym, and making money. You know what I'm saying? And doing what I gotta do to get where I want to be. So I would say that's probably my biggest thing right now. It's just, bro, I know what I want to be and where I want to be getting there. Now, I feel like a lot of people want to take shortcuts, and it's very easy when you can. But right now, nah. I'm trying to take my baby steps because I know that there's no rush. You know what I'm saying? There's no rush, bro. You could go at whatever pace you want as long as you know that that's the pace that you're going for or benefits you, right? I don't want to be comfortable. I want to be on a pace where I don't have to sacrifice. And then I feel like I'm working towards something, So I feel like I'm there. I feel like I've been mentally great. I picked up a new hobby this week too, which is good. So a lot of just adding to my plate. I feel like when I was going to work and then the gym after work, I feel like I had no time to do anything. So I said, I can make the sacrifice and go at 5 a.m. Then I have the rest of the day to do whatever I got to do. And that's benefited my life already. I'm able to do everything and not feel cluttered or rushed or feel like I'm just all over the place. I feel like I have some structure now, and bettering myself too, I'm very critical of myself. People that really do know me know I'm very outspoken, especially about myself. I can say, yeah, I fucked up there. I can't believe I did that. That was very immature of me. I don't even know why I did it. I don't have a reason for it, but I can apologize to you, but I don't think neither of us gain anything from an apology. But I can work on it. I'm very self-critical, and I'm very into fixing myself because everybody around me feels replaceable. The only person that's going to stay the same is myself. So I'm really trying to make myself the best person that I can be, trying to be as mature as possible, but I like laughing. I like joking around. I like being a dickhead, So, doing whatever brings me joy,
Do you have any advice just for yourself when you were going through that time? Like anything you would say to a younger version of yourself to help you through that time?
Yeah, to deal with it, to be honest. Nothing I can say that's going to change anything.
Wait, what was it?
Deal with it. Like, it's your reality. So I would tell myself it's reality and try to emphasize that. Maybe I would have been a little bit more, taking more initiative on taking all the time that I had, technically free time, taking advantage of that. But nothing related to what was going on. More about
acceptance.
Not really acceptance. Cause I can't. I to this day I have not accepted it. So I can't tell my older self to accept it. That would be contradicting, right? So it would just be more of use it as a fuel to, like, nobody has your experience. Use it to your advantage. And that's what I feel like I've been doing. Because when I see that shit made me a warrior, bro, I feel like I'm a warrior. Like, I feel like nobody could break my spirit. Even if you tried, good luck. I feel like I am very much aware of how life works, in a way, to my extent. So if I had to tell myself, it would be deal with it, but take advantage of the time that you have now, because it becomes very limited. And I would just hope myself would take that serious and put a lot of the time that I was down into something that's would have eventually blossomed into something that would have benefited me in the long run. I think that would be the main thing I would tell myself.
So you told me that when Nelly played a huge part in, your whole recovery post and after and all that stuff. Do you feel like during that time that she spent with you, that's when you finally, in a sense, you remembered back all those times that you were like, okay, this is a person that I want to go to Massachusetts with, go to Boston, start a different chapter in my life, open up that new book?
I mean, yeah, for that, I tell her all the time. I said, if I didn't have you, I don't know where I would be. And I sincerely mean that with everything in my that I'm capable of giving, bro. I sincerely mean I don't know where I would be without her, because I'm telling you, she probably saved my life some way, somehow. She saved my life. Now, where and when, I don't know. But she definitely had saved my life, and even her family too. You know, I don't have family. Like, I try to tell people this all the time. I even told your mom that. She was kind of confused, and she was like, "Why are you not doing something on this day?" I'm like, I don't have family. Like, before I met you guys, two Christmas before, Thanksgiving, New Year's, I was in my room on PlayStation by myself. I don't have family. I don't have family to go to or go out with. I don't have that accessible to me. You know, so, you know, having her family too, of feeling a part of that, you know, is good. You know, it brings me out. It brings another side of me out, you know, especially with the kids. Yeah, man, like, without her, I don't know. I really don't know where I would be. You know, she brings a lot out of me. She believes in me every day. She pushes me. You know, she respects the hell out of me. I respect the hell out of her. We push each other to be great. And that's one thing that I can say that I am, is that I don't care if you're mad at me. I will literally point you out on what you do, because I want you to be better. And I don't care how you feel about me. I really don't in that moment. Because eventually, whether it's with me or somebody else, you're going to be a better person. And I really stand on that. Like, for real. I've messed up a lot of relationships trying to tell somebody they could be better or should be better and do it this way. And it's not what I think is better. I could disagree with it, but say, this is the right way to do it, right? I play very much devil's advocate. But when I tell you, like, if I didn't eat, she'll bring me food. If I needed money, she'll give me money. If I needed water, she'll bring me water. Like, I had somebody to speak to every day. And I said, if I didn't speak to you or have you, I don't know I really don't know how I would have expressed my feelings and what I was going through. Like, she was there multiple times that I've broken down, that I've just sit up in the bed. She's seen me visibly in an extreme amount of pain. And she never treated me any different or anything less than I was. Like, when I tell you that when we first met, she treated me the same way now than she did when I was going through all that. She never made me feel like I was too much. Like, bro, you're going through so much, and we're all humans. We're all going through a lot. So for her to add that on her plate, and that stress, and that just in the back of her mind, for her to go through it like that meant so much to me. And I'm like, I literally tell her, I'm like, bro, I can't picture myself with another partner. Like, how do I do that? I gotta tell a girl at a bar about what I've been through, when she's just going to be like, damn, you've been through a lot. But versus me being with my partner. And I said, I'm so grateful that you were here through it, not because of what you've done for me, but you were able to experience it and see me go through it. So now you understand why I am the way I am. You know, and I think that played a big part. And I'm like, damn, like, we went through a lot together, and we weren't even together for that long. But I'm like, I'm sorry, but I really hope I don't go through worse in my life. Mm-hmm. Where I'm like, I hope this is the thick when we sit through thick and thin. You know, I hope everything else is just very normal stress and marriage and in the future with kids. But I was like, I hope I don't have to go through nothing like this again. I think this would be one of the worst points in my life, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I try to tell her all the time. I'm very grateful for her. You know, she really, I really don't know where I would be without her. You know, I could be dead right now. I don't know. But I'm telling you, I'm the person I am right now with the help of her. You know, like her and my siblings. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but like, I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like, thank God you weren't alone. You know, like, she was put in my life for a reason. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. When you leave to like Boston, how much of your siblings are you going to be thinking about? Like, are you gonna take constant trips coming back and forth? Do you know like the dynamic of how that's gonna work? Yeah,
I don't. But man, my little sister is my world, bro. Like, bro, I cannot live without her. If something happened to her, I don't know. That's like, I don't know. You know, everybody else is grown. You know, we can communicate, but man, with her, bro, I love her with everything I got, bro. I would give my life for her. I'm like, I try to be as much as a parent figure to her as I can, which she knows now. She comes to me for a lot of things that she doesn't tell anybody else. She confides in me. And I never feel more comfortable until she's around. You know, then we both get our full personality and the full experience with each other, you know. And she, you know, the way I've grown up, I went through all that. So has she, you know, at a younger age with my parents splitting and all that. So I give her what I didn't have growing up, you know, as I explain life to her. Like, if you see somebody doing good for themselves, they earned it and they worked for it. It wasn't given, you know. And like, I know that's very basic, but I really try to point it in her. Like, you can get wherever you want to go. It's in your realm of possibility and it's reachable, because our culture tells us that we can't. And those are the lucky ones. And I'm like, nah, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Like, you can get wherever you want to go. And, you know, it doesn't resonate in her, because I know if I was a teenager, I'd be in 1 year and 1 out. But I know that if I had that, once I am an adult, I would have been like, bro, like, this person was like always by my side. And then you really start to think about finances, right? That she knows if she's hungry, she hit me up and I'll get her food. Or I'll get her this, I'll get her bed sheets, I'll go to Target for her, I'll get her this, I'll get her that. You know, like, I'm the one that made her, I gave her a debit card. Debit card is under my name. I put money, I put funds into her debit card that she has. So if she needs something when she's out at school, got to get quick lunch or something, whatever she needs to order something, she has it. Like, I'm installing the things that I never had for myself through her, you know. So I just try to give her that, and I just expect it to resonate her when she's an adult, that she'll realize what I've done for her. And then she could be like, all right, I always had somebody on my side, even when I think I didn't. And that's my goal. That when she's older, she understands that this man, like, treated me like I was his daughter and treated her better than I would have treated myself, you know. So that's probably the one person that I'm going to miss so much. But I have other family out there that I'm looking to be around more, that they don't have, you know, because they ran away from New York, because they family dynamics, drama, you know, and they've created a very, very, very successful life. So I'm very interested I don't have family, and I feel like after X amount of years of my life, I finally get to move somewhere where I have family to visit and see and, you know, spend time with. Like, I don't have none of that, you know. Like, if I go to any family events, it's my girlfriend's family, you know. Like, if I spend holidays, it's with her, because if I don't, I'm going to be in my room, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm benefiting more than she is, you know, because she's very family oriented. So I feel like she's going to feel a lot of missing out, you know, piece of her missing. She can't just go 30, 40 minutes to visit a big family function, you know. So I don't know how much we're coming down, but I told her I'm very open to it as well, because I don't mind the drive. It's not a bad drive. But yeah, it just comes down. I mean, I know initially it's going to be a lot going on of settling in, but after that, I don't mind coming down, you know. I would love to. I'm going to see my little sister. If we come down, that's going to be me. I'm going to be like, I'm going to see my siblings. That's it. You know, because I feel like me and my siblings are going to rekindle our relationship when I'm gone. I really sincerely feel that, you know, where it's like, once I'm out of that environment that I'm currently in, it's going to benefit a lot of relationships I have outside, where I feel comfortable to be like, hey, like, how are you? And speak to them, you know? Because right now I walk in my house and I don't talk to nobody but my little sister. We just walk by each other every day. I don't know what's going on with them. They don't know what's going on with me. You know, so I feel like a lot of that, I feel like I'm going to benefit a lot from it.
Anything else you want to talk about or add today?
Nah, man, I think I hit on a lot, you know. But, I mean, I guess what I would say is that if somebody is going through something, you know, utilize your resources, but focus on yourself too. Don't rely on others to make you feel better, because that's all temporary. The best thing to do is make your mind sharp, right? Use others. Iron sharpens iron. So feed it what you can, you know, and I hope it gets better. Mm-hmm. You know, I hope you get better. Everybody does good. And if you're going through something, man, embrace it. The first thing to do when you're going through something is embrace it. That's the only way you're going to get past anything else. That's the first stepping stone. You can't skip it. So that would be my best advice. Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, bro, we appreciate you for coming, bro. I would love to have you back on, bro. I feel like that you got a lot more you want to say. So I would definitely love to have you back on, bro. But I appreciate you for coming.
Thank you guys for having me.
Pleasure, bro.
Pleasure meeting you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Kenny.
Man, bro. This has been the K&A podcast. All right, bro. That's it. Let's go.
That's it?
Yeah, bro. Let's go.
You done?
Fuck. fuck is you looking at, bro?
I'm just waiting for it, you know.
Waiting for what? Just stop the recording.
See you later.